There used to be a time in like, I think it was in college, so like 2017, 16, 17, 18 era, or I don't know, watch videos of like Bearing, Sargon of Akkad. They're the anti-feminist and atheist crowd that entered YouTube online, and they would pick out videos of just a couple of idiots, whether they were feminists or Christians or whoever, and just critique them, and it was entertaining. I mean, I understood. Okay, you're just pointing out one idiot out of the quite a few people, but it'd be entertaining. I think that's the same crowd, I guess, shoe on head used to hover around. I mean, I don't care for the whole drama. I think she used to date Armored Skeptic, but man, that was in the way back then. But I don't usually watch hers, and I don't really watch anyone else from that era. My favorite was like Sinatra Says, wrecked feminist videos, the hyper edited, poning feminist videos, and it gave me a hearty belly laugh. And usually I don't care for topics like this, but I was given this video by someone watching, and I'll do my best. I might be not be of anything of value that I'll be saying, but
Thanks to various social and economic factors and the rich, evil pedophile clowns that run our gay, retarded government, the American dream of owning a house and having a wife and 2 kids is dying. And the Zoomer Coomer fantasy of a rich, older girlfriend taking charge and making you chicken nuggies while you play video games in your pajamas all day is thriving. Back in my day, we called this cougar.
hey, that was the the peak fantasy of teenage boys having a thick goth mommy, giantess, make you food while you play video games and scream sexist slurs at her. Hey, that was the peak fantasy. Unfortunately, the world's a tad bit, quite a bit darker than that. But hey, you can't take someone away from their happiness, right? Like, come on now.
Hunting. Or, mommy issues. But the kids today are calling it something different. Hagmaxing.
What the fuck is this idea of adding the word maxing to everything? It's like you're playing goddamn RuneScape trying to max a skill. Hagmaxing. No, I think I heard about this when there's like this like woman in her 50s and 60s, and she married this like 18-year-old man boy. I mean, hey, you get uh, security there. You take her inheritance and live the good life. I mean, back in the day, you used to date people around your age range. So like people you worked with, like, or people from the workplace or from your school or college. But if I'm not mistaken, if you do that at work and you're under a 7 out of 10, that's sexual harassment, right? You saw the way like your mother and father probably did it in your community, right? How they met. Like, you can't do that now. So now you have these social media sites, but from them, there's another problem, right? This problem I like to call hoflation, where the 70% of women are going for the 2% of guys that have cars, mansions, houses, and they want a relationship, but those 2% of guys don't. They just want to pump and dump your ass. And that leaves 80% of guys looking for a relationship unhappy. I mean, there's been cases. I mean, obviously, there's cases of it working, but like, usually dating would happen in the community, in your own convent or at your church, right? Or at the work people you'll work with, but you can't do that now because of rules imposed by weird people who don't date. They just look at things and they shove moral labels on everything. The cougar epidemic. Ah.
In my last video, I jokingly referenced the term Hagmaxxiing.
You've been on a date with a 40-year-old?
Okay, that's different.
How is that different?
He's right, it's different. You're robbing the cradle, he's Hagmaxxiing. Educate yourself. Which greatly intrigued a lot of you. So I decided, you know what, I am going to make an entire video dedicated to covering this phenomenon. Gen Z men going out of their way to date older women. What is this? Why is this happening? Is this happening? And if it's happening, is it a good thing, or is it a symptom of broader societal issues?
Yeah, again, I think with dating sites and social media, the information goes around and you're kind of like in the dating atmosphere selling yourself, right? And you try to sell yourself for the highest bidder. This is why I don't much care. I have never used a dating site in my entire life. And if you're using like Facebook dating, like you belong on a list, like that just sounds like a fucking sting, right? A sting trap. That sounds like a sting operation. So no. Again, how most people would do is they just look around the people, like around them. But then you have social media sites and you have, young women. And you have young women that go for older guys for this very reason. If you're some guy straight out of high school, you have no car, you're living in your mom, you got no maidens, and you play video games, yeah, and you're competing with someone that's, I don't know, 8 miles away, has a house, has a car, has a job, and there's like a 6-year difference between them. Like, this is your competition. Like, you start off at a disadvantage, right? Until you get that car, until you get that house, and until you get all that. So, I don't blame guys, because again, the females in their age group are looking for the 30, 40-year-old man with a lot of money, single. So I'm not surprised that guys are kind of doing the same thing, looking for women, older women who are like, maybe have kids, but they have a house and all of that.
Why are all these young whippersnappers scooping up these older timepieces? Oh, speaking of timepieces, let's quickly get into today's sponsor, Holzgern. Holzgern is a young Austrian company that creates uniquely crafted watches, jewelry, and accessories using all natural materials like wood and stone. Their high-quality timepieces come in variant watch modeled after a real pie. A great gift for any green mosaic to ensure that each item is banlit for women.
For fuck's sake,
now, let's get back to it. What's up with Gen Z slang, dude? Looks-maxing, hag-maxing, riz, sus. Back in my day, we
It's funny. It's stupid, goofy, slang humor. I mean, it adds a comedic twist to things. It's like, it's really not that deep. We had this in 2008, right? And they probably had it before in like the 1910s when my mom was probably born, right? Like it ain't that deep.
We had our epic bacon and rafflecopters.
Oh,
we were
that's
happy.
huge.
Now, when I think of the term hag, I usually think of an evil, cackling witch. But no, apparently now it means women above 30. Fuck you guys.
Yeah,
I'm so tired of comments that are like, I used to watch you when I was in 3rd grade, and now I'm graduating college. Good for you. Awesome. Congratulations. My knees hurt when I get up off the floor. Now, this term hagmaxing went viral a few months ago with this screenshot. Meet the Hagmaxers. Gen Z's new social trend of dating older women. A very strange phenomenon is making its rounds on social media. Gen Z men are ditching casual sex with their women to pursue long-term relationships with financially stable and experienced millennial ladies. Now, even though this article doesn't actually exist, it was a meme created on 4chan, because of course it was, but the meme did spark a massive conversation.
That's the problem, right? You're taking things from 4chan, right? That's the problem. You're taking internet trends from a site of mentally ill people on 4chan. That's the problem. And again, hey, I 100% understand the grind, right? I mean, I don't know. When I went through school, I couldn't imagine dating anyone within my age range. Because you have this situation where you hear the voice and they're like, "Oh my God, Betty is such a bitch. Oh my God." And you're like, for fuck's sakes, please put a bullet in my fucking skull, right? And hey, some of the teachers were hot, right? And I couldn't imagine dating anyone in that era. And it's like, I knew even in high school that I ain't gonna see any of those fuckers. I probably talked to like 2 or 3 people from my high school days. Like, I knew this, so there was really no point. But, and you see, and again, with online and with, people putting their information in their face and their desires out there, you're gonna have situations like these.
Conversation and debate about hagmaxing. And people had a lot of strong opinions about it. Motherless behavior. This is just mommy issues rebrand. Another day, another psyop. It's not hagmaxing, it's MILF hunting, and it's an art. Please don't misappropriate my fetishes, giving the dumbest name known to humankind to having a mommy kink. I mean, to be honest, I'm 16, waiting for a 20 to 25-year-old to pick me up, lol. Okay, officer. I'm gonna throw up. I would love to have a 40-year-old sugar mama who buys me gifts and pays my bills. Drizzle, drizzle. Young, hard dicks and the older women who enjoy them. This isn't new. Hagmax bandwagoners are so cringe. I've been hagmaxing since 2nd grade in Miss Johnson's class. I am going to kill every last Gen Z and Gen Alpha kid on this planet, including myself.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, half of these, it sucks we live in an age like this, because you have to look at some of these comments and you're like, are these bots? Man, I would take us back to when people were legitimately genuine. Like, I'm actually like, okay, are these bots or are these real people? And I 100% believe they could all just be real people. But I also 100% believe they all could be bots. Like, the dead internet theory is definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, opinionated people on topics that have absolutely nothing to do with them. Sounds like it's a normal Monday night to me.
I want to be a hagmaxer, lol, any female taker, XD. I like thick MILFs and I cannot lie. Oh nice, it must be socially acceptable for 37-year-old men to date 20-year-old women again. Whoa, 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 let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Absolutely not. I fucking love adult women. Women over 32 should be illegal. Now, according to the various...
No, but you have the thing with Leonardo DiCaprio dating women in like their 20s, and the minute they become 26, he dumps them and goes for another woman, right? And you look at that, and people are like, oh, slacksism. Oh. But, I mean, again, you have women that go for the 40, 50, 60-year-old man. And none of the earnest is put on the women, because it's almost, they know this is going to happen. It's almost like they know. I mean, he's a Hollywood actor, and they have probably some of the most degenerate fucking lifestyles that anyone can have. But, yeah, I mean, you have that situation, and again, the earnest is it's only the men's fault. Absolutely. Apparently.
Astute, always reliable source. knowyourmeme.com. The term Hagmaxxiing is very popular in the VTuber community. Now, I don't have much interest in the VTuber community, but they seem to have a lot of interest in me. A lot of interest. Should I do a video reacting to VTubers reacting to me one day? That might be fun. Let me know if I should do that. Although it seems to be a meme amongst the VTubers and the weebs, it is apparently a thing happening in real life. Rise of the boy toy. Why older women are dating Gen Z men at record rate. One woman stated, "Women my age seem to be excited by the freshness and lack of bitterness that comes with dating someone younger. Younger men seem more open and less burdened by insecurities." Okay, I have a feeling I'm going to be saying this like 100 times in this video, but could you imagine an article like this with the genders reversed? I love dating these young, fresh.
Yeah, see, everyone says that, but there's clearly just a difference between, you know, how people think about men and women, right? And I get it, it's unfair, right? But the whole, the gender's reverse argument, I mean, you could be right, but it doesn't matter if you're right, it just matters how people perceive the situation. I hate that that's the fact, but we could flip out about it all you want. Like, yeah, people will think it's weird if a 50-year-old man dates an 18-year-old girl. I mean, it's like, what do y'all even have in common? Like, y'all damn near in two completely different generations. My man probably hit the end of World War II, right? Well, no, that would be like 70 or 80, but same situation. Like, I mean, my man grew up in an entire different fucking planet, entire different fucking society. It's like, like, what do you have in common except just the sexual aspect? And I mean, a 50-year-old woman dating an 18-year-old guy, I don't know, I would absolutely view that differently. I mean, speaking from someone who was an 18-year-old guy, I mean, you don't really, again, you're starting off at a disadvantage than the guys that are 30, 40, 50, 60. So just really having anyone that, another female acknowledge you is a pretty good plus. So,
Fresh boys. They're less bitter. They have less baggage. They're not ran through. People would just be calling it red pill incel shit. Age gap relationships between millennial women and Gen Z men are on the rise. Our analysis of age hypogamy reveals the pragmatic underpinning of these relationships. It sometimes comes down to who's available. Many older men prefer to date younger women. The same is true for a lot of older women, with millennial and Gen Z men emerging as appealing dating options. For their part, many Gen Z men might have few opportunities to date women their own age, or prefer to date older women for various reasons. Enter millennial women.
And I'm proud to be a millennial with my side part and skinny jeans.
If you're an older millennial woman,
I really hate the generation, the whole millennial, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. Look, like, we can't even agree on the cutoff of which year you being born in and which configury you're entering in. It's just people who scared to death of association with others that are their age but act different, right? Like, nothing comes from this fucking argument on which generation you're, like, nothing comes from it. So, like, I don't care to really have that argument, right? But, I mean, yeah, you do have the situation where, again, you know, and it's just a human desire to find love, right? Even if it's for the sexual aspect or just for a legitimately good relationship. I don't know why it's weird. All of a sudden, I now understand with the age gap, yeah, it can be weird, and obviously if they're under 18. But with social media, and again, there's nothing we can do about this, right? Unless you want to ban dating apps, ban social media, like, this is just going to keep happening.
Woman, you might be attracted to younger men for their energy, inclusive views about sex and gender, and superior care and literacy about their partner's emotional well-being. In many ways, Gen Z men see millennial women as an opportunity to level up emotionally and socially. With their evolved attitudes about everything from non-monogamy and gender fluidity to the anti-hustle soft life, Gen Z men may be the most likely generation to overturn powerfully entrenched stereotypes about sex and relationships. The kind featured by Podcast Bros. I love how millennial women have just
Yeah, and see, that's the problem, right? We're looking at all this through a who uses this terminology except people who been through a university and they think they're smart, right? But they say these words that your mother wouldn't. Entrenched stereotypes again. There's always good and bad, and then again that's the situation where you only dated people within your friend group, within your class range, within the people you work with. Like, yeah, it had its disadvantages, right? But I mean, it's something that has worked up until now. Now that we have social media and dating sites and dating apps, some of which will absolutely lie to you. Like, I think it was Bumble that lied to you about your preferences, to push an ideology. Like, you have these things happening, and there's nothing we can do about it, right? And again, unless you want to ban these things. So at the end of the day, you really gotta choose what's good for you. I mean, it sounds cheesy and it sounds like a cop out, but at the end of the day, you can't control what everybody else does. You can only really control what you do and the things you think about and how you choose to live. Like, this is kind of a non-issue.
the kind featured by
Where unscientific notions like sexual market value and oppressive patriarchal norms are peddled to the red pilled crags. Exactly. Looking like, what does this mean outside of just a fringe group of ideologically possessed idiots?
Podcast Bros. I love how millennial women have just psyoped themselves into believing a man who thinks fucking a whole bunch of different women at the same time with no romantic commitment is an evolved way of looking at relationships. Like, yes, queen, that Zoomer you're banging is so open-minded and progressive. He's not like those podcast bros. I swear modern feminists.
I mean, it's the I can fix him argument. It's like, oh no, I can do better. Me. I have the power. Like, no, man, you probably don't, right? It's just very, very odd. Like, I never really dated until I was in college, right? And even then, it was like, you have women like that. Like, one of them had a problem with playing fucking video games. And I was like, well, I guess this isn't gonna fucking work out right, But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a point to this. I don't.
Feminism is like the greatest trick men have played on women. Like, just a bunch of dudes got in a room one day and were like, hear me out. We convinced them that getting naked and sleeping around is empowering. Genius! Even Hollywood seems to be hopping on the Hagmaxing train. Why are so many older women dating younger men in recent rom-coms? I'm old enough to be your mother, sighs Anne Hathaway as she passionately entwines with Amazon's new heartthrob Nicholas Galazine in The Idea of You. Oh, Anne Hathaway? I'm sorry, who wouldn't Hagmax with Anne Hathaway?
What a forward young man you are! My goodness!
This phenomena is a groundbreaking shift, considering Hollywood.
I mean, if we're talking like media, right? It's like, if you want to make like a TV show or a movie for younger guys, you mainly just show the majority of them with, I don't know, women that are at max 25 years old. Like, yeah, you can have that 30, 40 or 150-year-old women in there, but I mean, if you're trying to make media, if you're trying to have a visual medium and make entertainment, you will show people that represents the demographic. Now, for some reason, that has changed. It's like, no, we need to play these 50, 60, 70-year-old women, which for the most part look ugly, right? They just don't, like in the new Borderlands movie, it's like none of it was believable. Like, why are you torturing this old woman, right? And you also have this in video games. But I mean, you can have pretty 50-year-old women, but you can tell they put in a lot of time, money, and effort, and it's commendable. But again, in entertainment, like, this is just marketing 101. Like, is that It's this simple for a reason, right? And it's this simple because anyone who tries to make it complicated is just trying to sell an ideology, right?
Hollywood's reputation for perpetuating the male gaze and old men's uncanny obsession with younger women. You know, I really don't care about this shit, but it is so funny how much of this equality stuff is just, okay, now it's women's turn to do the thing we said was bad. All the new strong female leads in movies that are just kind of assholes, celebrating of billionaire female CEOs. Like, did you actually want change? Or was it really all just penis envy? Older women partnering with younger men. Why do some people have a problem with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't understand that there's other depictions of strength, and that's, feminine strength. Like, if they depict a strong female character, they just make her act like a man. And it's like, no, I mean, you have Bayonetta, who's oozed femininity, right? You had Lara Croft, who, went through the struggle, and in the later games, that she actually has a level of confidence, right? Like, there's other ways to depict these, and again, like, and I take The Boys, for instance, right? All the female characters act the same. They have literally the exact same personality, where the guys, they have their ups, they have their downs, they have their weird shit, they have their flaws, but they also have their strengths. It's like the male characters are actually allowed to have character, actually be human beings, while the female characters are just not allowed to. It's like
that. Perhaps celebrities will help ease the stigma. The French president's
What
wife,
the
Brigitte
fuck?
Macron, is almost 25 years older than her husband. They met when he was 15, and she was his high school teacher. Wait! That is not good. There should be a stigma against that. What? Maybe these
and South Park points out this odd, how do I word this? They point out this odd phenomenon where the teacher effectively rapes a student that's underage, and all the other guys are like, nice. And it's like, well, it's not nice. There's not nice about it, And you have these odd situations of this happening, even in schools. And it's almost like every single month it happens again and again and again. And they get objectively less of a sentence than, say, a male rapist, right? And you'll have that one person that thinks they're the protagonist in their anime and be like, oh, but men rape more. Ooh! It's like, yeah, but it's clear what the fuck happens to them. The problem is it's not clear for the female rapists. Like, they get on average less of a sentence. And that's another weird phenomenon. I don't think she's going to go into this, but that's another odd phenomenon that's happening, right? And it's one of those things where people just don't want you to point it out. Like, you see it happening, that people will derail the argument, and it's like, okay, well, I get you're incapable of understanding complex issues. You only know just argue through your ideology, but okay, you sit over there and we can have the adults over here talk about
Profile
it.
women will help shatter the stigma and normalize the benefits of widening our options when seeking romantic partnerships. After all, at every age, we deserve what our hearts desire. No. When you are a grown-ass teacher and your heart desires an underage student, you do not, in fact, deserve that. What am I reading? I'm 37 and my boyfriend is 23. I make upper six figures and own a condo in New York City. At least 3 of my friends are also dating significantly younger men. One is 32 and has been dating a 19-year-old for 3 years. I don't rely on men to be financially stable. I don't need my man to have a good job. We both know what we want out of this relationship and we're getting it. You know, honestly, good for this wait. One is 32 dating a 19-year-old for 3 years.
I think there's a disparity there.
No. We older women aren't man haters. We have a lot of love and make a man feel like a man. We are not drama queens. We can't get pregnant. We are very sexy. I'm not like the other girls.
That has to be a fucking bot. I really hate today's internet. That has to be a bot. But it's like, where was I going with this? I mean, I guess not being a drama llama is another thing that, again, I feel like stoicism is a very manly ideology, but it can work for women as well. Like this idea of not being a drama queen, not caring what everybody else does. But there are stigmas that should stay right where the fuck they are. Right? And again, I think if marrying someone that's like 30 years younger than you, and that stigma should stay right the fuck where it's at. You know, I mean, we can pick and choose which is good and which is bad. I mean, we have this higher cognitive ability to think about things. I mean, if it's a happy relationship now, even if he's 17, it's illegal. Should be illegal. But if it's a happy relationship and they're adults, what the fuck ever.
Infertile. Men dating older women is called hagmaxing now? Why can't men just be normal? Why does everything have to be misogynistic? No, it's not misogynistic. The term hag here is endearing. We're taking back the term hag. It's like when black people took back the N-word. There's something seriously disgusting about men taking advantage of women's loneliness for their resources. So when it's a younger man dating an older woman, the younger man is still the predatory one? What?
Yeah. It's people who... This is why I do not take advice from strangers, right? It's people who have their worldview, the way they look at things, you know, their way of life, and they're trying to comment on other complete fucking strangers. It's like, I'm sorry, who the fuck are you again? You know, it's like, I get it, you have this ideology where you and are not at fault for anything because of the sexual reproductive organs between your pants, and someone with the opposite of that does. But I mean, what the fuck are you on about?
You guys just cannot win. Really? This is so disgusting. 34 is not old. I am not a hag. Okay, so we've heard—
You're a hag if it's an 18-year-old boy. Like, I mean, let's be real. An 18-year-old guy with the hormones raging. Yeah, you're a hag. Yeah.
from the hags. Now—
And it's not to be mean about it. It's just, you know, that's part of the stigma. It's like, stick in your own dating range at most 5 years old. Or, and maybe marriage is different. But if it's dating, like, I don't know.
Now let's hear from the hagmaxers. Why are these young men dating older women? I have mommy issues. Well, there has to be other reasons, right? I have a granny fetish.
Oh.
Come on, there's gotta be another reason. Because Gen Z women aren't worth going for. And I have mommy issues.
Facts. Yeah.
To be honest, as a guy who's 22 dating a 36-year-old, I think for the most part, older women are just a lot less drama and just more mature. Older the better. Most have a car, a house, financial stability, and time. They are mature and can teach you some valuable lessons, wisdom, and experience. I'm still 19, and for me, older women I flirt with at bars and clubs are much more receptive and flirty than Zoomer girls. Honestly, it's partly because modern Western girls from 18 to 25 are like 80% hoes now. A woman who is 30 today likely has fewer partners, sexual or other, than a woman who is 5 years younger than her. I changed my Tinder age range from 20 to 25 to 30 to 39 and have been going on more dates than ever before with beautiful women who do not care that I don't make 6 figures at 22 years old. It's either take care of a younger woman who we know is potentially a flight risk or appreciate an older woman who has their own shit together. George W. Bush married an older woman to get that money. I don't think George W. Bush should be a role model for anything. Easy, good sex, intellectual conversations, less games, more fun, and they treat you nicely. They tend to be more grounded. Did I mention the sex part? Oh, and if it's post-menopause, even better. If girls can date older men, then why not younger men date older women? I'm 16, and I'm not attracted to anyone below 30 years old. Ah yes, the elusive reverse pedophile. Dating a woman with a career, property, experience in bed, and life. What's not to like? Young sluts want the money up front. Old sluts are just happy to get some attention. Older women fed me, slept with me, and sent me on my way with snack packs. Legit amazing. I'm
My man got that Lunchables from this morning. Oh, sorry, Liz, I kicked you in the face, you fucking idiot. That was an accident. But yeah, I mean, why is that a bad thing? I mean, some of those are fucking weird, but others are like, again, I don't know if this is actually happening or if it's actually that good, or I don't know if it's bots. But, I mean, if you know that the people within your age range operate on a completely different scale, I mean, you're just going to jump above that. I mean, there's absolutely nothing of value that's going to come out of my mouth from this. I think it's odd, but I mean, if the 38-year-old and the 26-year-old dude is happy, I don't really care.
26 now, dating a 38-year-old after years of trying with women my age and younger. They are all social media obsessed narcissists. I feel like they're hyping up millennial women too much here. Oh, they're not narcissists obsessed with social media. You guys weren't around during the MySpace days. Have you ever met a Gen Z woman? Who would want to date them? They're me, give me, take care of me. Man, if the ones my age ain't loyal, might as well. They're basically like a grandma caring for you and taking care of you. Oh my god. Nothing like a no denture adventure. You people are sick. No, I don't believe this is happening more than ever just because Gen Z men like easy sex or gifts. Or that Gen Z women are too obsessed with drama or social media. No, I think there's more to it, and I have a few theories. So, as we talked about before in other videos, a lot of men are dropping out of college. The issue is, a lot of young, college-educated women want college-educated men. See, Stacy is looking for someone college-educated who's making more than her.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's a class thing, and, like, I go to my church, and there's a lot of guys, like, older men that don't have college educations, and some of them are even like bus drivers, right? And like truck drivers, construction workers, and they have happy relationships. Like, it's this odd class issue that's being thrown out in front of you, and this is with social media, right? But like over the pandemic, like I know guys that were truck drivers that made a hell of a lot more money than any doctor. Now it's like, oh, it's a tough job. You have to be up maybe 8 hours, 10 hours straight, driving a goddamn lorry across the country, but you make a lot and you're not home for next like week or so, but you make a lot of fucking money from that, right? And it's something that's required. Again, it's this odd thing where like a college education is the requirement for dating, and it's something that I don't really much think it should be something that's, you know, what how do I say this? It just shouldn't be something that is the benchmark. Like there's plenty of guys that don't have a college education, but they can provide for themselves perfectly. And again, it's again how other like women look at others, right? It's one of those things where it's like you care about what other people think of you and think of you and who you're dating, and it's something that just when you grow older, you stop thinking this way. You're like, okay, I got my situation, my issues, you know, my things I gotta deal with, and I'm dealing with it with my significant other. Instead of, oh, I'm young, I need to care about what every fucking body else thinks about me and the person I'm with, right? And this is where stoicism comes into play, because it teaches you to just not, like, most of how you view the world and how you view things is mainly in your own head. So if you just stop worrying about things that are beyond your things you can control, you're just a happier person. And I think this works in relationships in this situation. Like, you won't really care. Shouldn't care what other people think about you and the person you're dating, because at the end of the day, it just doesn't mean anything. Like,
but not that many young men are on that level yet. Older men are, but not many around Stacy's age. But you know who doesn't care? Karen. Karen doesn't care about your lack of college degree. Karen wants to pick you up in her 2013 Toyota minivan and bang you in the back seat, then take you to Olive Garden. No strings attached. Unlimited breadsticks. For basically
until Karen wants to 1v1 the damn manager in the goddamn Olive Garden. But I mean, again, this goes back to, you know, just the idea of not caring. And people say they don't care just to act like, you know, act like, oh, hey, yeah, that's an impressive argument. But sometimes people they say these things as if it's, you know, a good argument, but they do care, and it's okay to care. Just understand that. Just don't impose that on other people, right? Even if they are your significant others.
all of human history, the most prevalent age gap was older men and younger women. But why? Well, it's because men are all disgusting creeps who should be thrown into work camps and castrated and forced to make us pumpkin spice lattes. But also, it's because younger women are more fertile, and the whole point of relationships is to make babies. Or at least it used to be. Well, at least in our lizard brains. That's the whole point. I don't know what the point of modern relationships are anymore. I just learned recently that people purposely get into short-term relationships, which is bizarre to me. Like, what's the point? As well as situationships and polycules. The world is very confusing. It turns out people are different than me. Now, let's be real. Hagmaxing simply does not make any sense from a evolutionary biological standpoint. But it's 2024. We have surpassed the need for evolutionary biology. We can grow babies in pods and also kill ourselves in them. Our brains are full of plastic now. Men wanting to be with younger women may—
I mean, yeah, we're living in that cyberpunk dystopian future, right? And hey, next thing you know, like she said, you don't even need the female, right? And hey, nowadays, even men can become women. And it just proves that men are better at literally everything, even being women. Like, motherfuckers are being replaced by just another dude who looks hotter, has a better ass. I mean, come on now.
Made sense when babies were the goal, but babies don't seem to be the goal anymore. For many older women who simply don't want to have them, and for many younger Gen Z men who think they can't afford them, or even worse, are scared that having kids will contribute to climate change. It's like every other week I see an article, fear-mongering Gen Z. Don't have kids, it will increase the carbon emissions, blah blah blah. You have to save the planet. And first of all, I gotta ask, who the fuck we saving the planet for if not future generations? So if Gen Z does not want kids,
I mean, we're saving it for the people at Davos, you know, the politicians who are 100%, the NGOs are 100% allowed to have as many kids, or like the actors, right? They can have as many. Well, Hollywood actors are not having kids. They're going through so many goddamn divorces. But yeah, they're saving it for, you know, the people who make those articles and hell, they probably even put that type of legislation in if it gets that bad, but not for you, right? You know, you, the person who, well, works for a living, like, you can only have one child, where everyone else, you know, the guy making the decisions for you, he can have as many kids as he wants.
if they think they can't afford kids, why does being with a fertile woman even matter? Might as well date an older woman. Might as well scramble those rotten eggs. Oh, editor.
And you see this even in, like, impoverished nations. Like, they'll have plenty of kids. Like, if you go to the lower caste of India, yeah, they have kids, right? You go to African countries and, you know, tribes that live in countries, like, yeah, they have kids. I mean, this is really only an issue in first world nations, right? Like, you see when people that have more money, have more things, have more technology, you know, they have just less kids. And I think idiocracy is kind of it's an extreme to this, but I mean, I gotta talk about idiocracy because I rewatched it. One of the best presidents, period, right, in idiocracy. But that's a video for another day.
Edit that out, edit that out. No. But believe it or not, Hagmaxxiing is not really a new thing. It's been around for a really long time. Hundreds of years, even.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a very famous Hagmaxer in American history who wrote an entire letter of why it's preferable to sleep with an older woman. And that Hagmaxer's name? Benjamin Franklin.
Oh,
no, I'm not kidding.
Lord.
Benjamin Franklin literally wrote about the benefits of Hagmaxing. And what's funny is, a lot of the reasons Benjamin Franklin gives are the same reasons a lot of the Zoomers who Hagmax give today. Because as they have more knowledge of the world, and their minds are better stored with observations, their conversation is more improving and more lastingly agreeable.
Yeah, like if I try to hit a woman with my Warhammer 40k lore knowledge, it'll scare the hoes away. And that just ain't cool. That ain't good. Right? Or if I try to hit him with that Star Trek knowledge, they're like, nah, the fuck away from me. And see, that's also the other thing. It's like, you know, at the end of the day, you need to have your own values, your own, you know, things, your own ambitions, and the things you want to strive for. And I think that even if you don't really have, like, it doesn't even end up the best for you as far as dating. I mean, that's you just in a better mindset, right? You know, have your own values, have your own ambitions, you know, have your strengths, your traits, and your weaknesses, and just put yourself out there, right? I mean, I'm not expecting anyone to really take my advice, right? Because again, I don't much really take the advice from complete fucking strangers, right? But I think if you think this way, and you stop thinking about what everyone else thinks and trying to control everyone else around you, I think you're just happy. Like, at the end of the day, you just sleep better. And if you sleep better, you eat better. If you sleep and eat better, you feel better.
Because when women cease to be handsome, they study to be good. So basically, she can't rely on her looks anymore and has to develop a personality. Because they're—
Unless she's Jennifer Lopez. Now, I mean, George Lopez be looking kind of hot, too. God damn it. Like, man had that negative concave ass. Looking like Hank Hill, only Mexican. But yeah, unless you're Jennifer Lopez, who probably spends hundreds of thousands of dollars to look that way.
There is no hazard of children, which irregularly produced may be attended with much inconvenience. Because through more experience, they are more prudent and discreet in conducting an intrigue to prevent suspicion. They're easier to cheat on your wife with.
Oh, no.
Lovely, because in every animal that walks upright, the deficiency of the fluids that fill the muscles appears first in the highest part. The face first grows lank and wrinkled, then the neck, then the breast and arms, the lower parts continuing to the last, as plump as ever.
Oh,
Benjamin
God.
Franklin really just said, the ass is still fat.
Oh,
Incredible
God.
stuff from our founding fathers. I will literally never be able to look at a picture of this man the same again. This is no longer the guy.
This is the face of a hero. Like look at this fucking smirk. He's like, yeah, I said that.
Who discovered electricity. No, this is the great American Hagmaxer. So basically, some Gen Z guys have found a hack in the male loneliness epidemic by dating the women who are suffering from the female loneliness epidemic. Like the two unwanted ends of a bread loaf coming together to make a sandwich. Beautiful. Two people who believe they are the leftovers of society. Two people using each other to temporarily numb the pain. Or maybe it's not that fucking deep and it's just a funny meme. To be honest,
I mean, isn't that most relationships with a hot, dommy, mommy, goth girl with daddy issues that could probably stab you in the middle of the night, but hey, at least you got the dommy, mommy, goth, hot, 6'12", goth mommy. I mean, come on now.
to be honest, I don't think this is an epidemic, like the internet makes it seem like it is. All the data basically says that women prefer to date men slightly older than them or around the same age as them, and men tend to date women younger than them or around the same age as them. Large age gaps, for the most part, are rare. In relationships where the man is older, he's usually only older by 1 to 2 years. In relationships where the woman is older, 2 to 3 years. In all Western countries, only 8% of couples have an age gap of 10 or more, and couples with a larger age gap have more of a chance of getting a divorce. But it is a rising trend to think about and keep an eye on. As the social landscape continues to change, so will gender dynamics, and I find that very interesting. But that's enough of my yapping. What do you guys think? What do you think of hagmaxing? Have you ever hagmaxed? Would you hagmax?
No.
Personally, I am married to someone younger than me. He was graduating middle school while I was going into college. Well, to be clear, I did not know him when he was in middle school. I am not married to a middle schooler. Not a groomer, folks. Do not put in the newspaper that I am a groomer. If you like this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon, link down below. It helps.
Would I hag Max? Absolutely. Without a doubt. Look, you gotta chase that bag and chase that ass. But, yeah, I mean, well, you know, things change like this all the time. I mean, there'll always be that graph, and there'll always be multiple points on the graph, and there'll always be all these studies that come out. But it's difficult to relate to a graph. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the line's going to probably keep going up. And why? Again, in my opinion, it's just the social media sites and dating apps, which allow for this. Again, now, you can even date someone across the fucking planet, give them a fucking green card, then have them break up with you. Now that they're in America, I mean, that has happened plenty of times. But anyway, I mean, alright video. I'm very vulnerable right now if any of you women are reading this. Bruh. Because you cannot stand looking at Benjamin Franklin any longer, feel free to mail me all the ugly, disgusting $100 bills you may come across. Oh, God. I'm shocked you did not know Ben Franklin's status as a pussy hound and certified freak. There's a reason he's the one we sent to maintain relationships with the French. Oh my god, I've read that, but again, it's one of those things that is stripped from the history books because America has a very puritanical society. Younger women will play games with your heart, older women will play games with your joystick. On God, Maple Soldier 69, on God. You should have put a trigger warning before that Anna Hathaway clip. I started barking at work. Got him. I am a groomer. She won't it. Oh yeah. Older men dates younger women. He's considered a creep by women. Older women dates younger men. He's considered a creep by women and men. What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, you have the ideological view, but again, I think 50-year-old guy dating an 18-year-old woman is still weird. But again, I feel like once they get married, that changes. Because now you know that the woman's just taking advantage of him. Right? I say if they're dating, the 50-year-old man's at fault. But if they're married, the 18-year-old woman's at fault. Yeah. Yeah. Sigmund Fraud is tweaking and geeking in his grave right now. Oh God. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. Absolutely nothing of value came from my mouth. Peace.